Here is a MAGA individual who strongly believes that the United States belongs to whites only. From the panel, in the manner which it was structured, he is a MAGA supporter. All the individuals who were in this discussion were all whites. And this millennium strongly believes that the United States as a whole should only belong to white people. Individuals should not invite new visitors. They should be blunt. They should share their thoughts openly and tell the foreigners or the immigrants the United States belongs to them. I want you to watch this video and then I am going to give out my own thoughts.
I would say that they allowed incrementally their country to be stolen from them, and we're sort of constantly, it's like, well, what's the problem with the guy, this guy, I mean, he's a great worker, it's fine. And it's like, well, okay, his whole family's coming, and okay, well, now his whole neighborhood has changed, and okay, now, and so it's like you have to sort of be more hardcore and go, I don't care if it's mean, it's our country, you can't have it.
Well,
It is 1492 and Christopher Columbus arrives in America. On arrival, he got hospitality. The native people, the indigenous people, welcomed Christopher Columbus. They were hospitable. They were ready to share their own resources. But Christopher Columbus had a different intention. He had requested the king in Spain to fund his caravan, and his main goal was to discover gold in India. When he arrived in the United States, he thought he had arrived. These individuals we found there, who were natives, they had gold. And Christopher Columbus was so excited. Among the things he said, these individuals, you can even mold them into what you want. And that's why he ended up forcing this individual to hard labor. He colonized these individuals. Most of these individuals who were the native were killed. Others killed themselves. Others killed their own kids because they didn't want torture, which they went through or their young ones went through. One of the best things which you can realize from this narrative is that there were different owners of America. It's not the current individuals who are the original owners of the land. They took it away from people, and not in a fair negotiation, but through murder, assassination, and torture. So when MAGA individuals goes ahead and say, this is our land, you must understand why. They are suspicious. They strongly believe that the way which that land was taken away from the natives, it might likely be taken away from them. I want you to understand something. I am not saying that the United States should open borders such that every individual needs to come into the country and out of the country. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm trying to say is that you as an individual who is a MAGA supporter, who strongly believes that that's your land, you are absolutely wrong. Once individuals get the facts right, I believe they can be more reasonable. And first of all, why are some of these individuals migrating to the United States? One of the things which lead or make other people to move to the United States, yeah, I understand it is because it has a great potential in terms of opportunities. That's true. But at the same time, it's because the United States has caused a lot of havoc in their native countries. Let's use an example, Syria. What's currently going on in Iran? The likes of Yemen. We have Southern Sudan, the Democratic Republic of Congo. All those countries, the United States has meddled in their political situation. In one way or another, the United States was a big destabilizer of their own country. So most individuals thought that the United States should be a place to go and seek a better life for them. If the United States had not interfered in their internal affairs, some of these countries might be peaceful. They might have a prosperous future. Let's use a good example, for instance, the Iranian issue. As I was reading through the history of Iran, initially the United States and Iran had a good relationship. But in around 1950s, 1953 to be exact, the United States together with Britain, they had a coup. They removed an individual who was democratically elected, Mohammed Mossadegh, someone like that. And this led to a brutal regime which governed for around 1953 to 1979. And the Iranians went through hell. And this was because of the United States. The United States supported this dictator. And that's why we have now the Republic of Iran, IRGC. So once most of these individuals understand that the United States, if it had kept its leadership in the United States and taken care of its own issues, most of these individuals who are now victimized in the United States would not be going to these countries or would not be going to the United States, because even if their countries may have challenges, but they will be in a good position to progress. But how can you progress if the United States now and again is dropping bombs? So an individual, I understand, is a MAGA individual, but sometimes you really need to understand why are some individuals in the United States. And you as an individual, I believe you have so limited power in terms of what you can do. Most of these immigrants are already in the United States because they provide cheap labor. It's not that the United States it doesn't gain anything from them. The United States takes their labor in a more cheaper manner. That's why most of the native, now what we can call the Native Americans, and these are maybe the whites and the slaves, the black slaves and the Spanish, all those individuals are now the natives, but they don't provide really cheap labor compared to immigrants who are moving from South America, Africa, Europe, all those countries. So once some of these individuals understand some of the reasons why America is having a kind of immigration issue, they must understand the root cause, and also they must come into terms that the United States is not them as the individuals who are currently residing in the United States are not the native owners. Native owners were assassinated, they were butchered. I saw some of the statistics saying that, for instance, there was some of the state which is currently now in the United States, there were around 9 million individuals when these settlers, the Spanish, went to America. But by the time around 1650s, the population of that 9 million had reduced to 50,000. And what is the main reason? Because the Spanish or the colonizers killed these individuals. They destroyed them, and also they spread new diseases into this area. So when MAGA individuals go ahead and say, oh, this is our land, no, it's not your exact land. For now, you are just the placeholders. There were individuals who were actually killed in order for you to have that land. Anyway, I would like your thoughts in the comment section. What is your thoughts about this individual? See you in my next one. Subscribe, like, share. Siku njema.